Your show will go live in 4, 3, 2, 1. Love Talk Radio.
The host of Happy Hour Live. Hopefully, you just got off work. If not, you're about to get off, and you can enjoy a moment or share this moment, which is an interactive moment, as we talk about relationship. See, happy, and truly, I want everybody to understand, Happy Hour Live is basically an opportunity for us to have a cocktail and talk about happy things. So I'm excited to be here before you, but I want you to be a part of the show by calling in. The call-in number is 347-857-4192. Press 1, and I'll make sure I get you on the line by identifying the last 4 digits of your cell or telephone number. Then I will ask for your location, and then you can chat with Dr. Lorenzo D. Smith as we talk about our title, Relationship, Conflict, and Managing Conflict. You also can catch us on the web. That's www.blogtalkradio.com, WVSW Internet Talk Radio. You also can check us out on our Twitter account. We have 2 Twitter accounts that we're using. We're excited about using those accounts. We have at Zeta Phi Sigma _ with the number 10. Then we also have another account that you can check us out called with the Zeta Phi Sigma chapter. We're partnering with the Brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. And this is Zeta Phi Sigma chapter of Greenville, Alabama. And we're partners with them, and we're trying to bring and communicate with us at Lorenzo D. Smith 15, along with our live broadcast. And this is a part we really are enthused about. First of all, we're connected through social media site. This is WVSW Radio, the internet station. We're number 1. And the reason we're number 1 is we're the first radio station that actually truly use the social media site to broadcast all of our programs. We're going to start off with, if you want to connect with us on Big O Live, you have that opportunity to do that. You just go to at Dr. L. Diaberto Smith on Facebook. You can check us out as well. That's facebook.com/DRL Diaberto Smith. Then we're on Instagram. And to be on Instagram, we are partnered with the Brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Zeta Phi Sigma chapter of Greenville, Alabama. So their Instagram handle is Z Squad Greenville 1981. TikTok live at Dr. L. Diaberto Smith. And on YouTube, we have our own channel, and we're excited. We're in the studio broadcasting live now. You can be a subscriber, or you can just check us out. And that's the Smith Way Enterprise. And we're excited because that's a way to get the word out. We're excited because WVSW Radio have listeners and watchers in 43 countries on all 6 continents. And that's where we're just using this platform to talk about today happy things. And it's all about relationship. We also want you to be aware that you can register for WVSW radio giveaways. And those giveaways include hotel stay. We are paid for in luxury hotel all over the world by our selection, and you have to get your name in. And we pay for gift cards that we give away. We pay for food vouchers. We pay for gas vouchers. We purchase books, and we have these books available to individuals that want to to get this book from the various authors who's been on the show. So that's why we're really excited about giving back to each and every one of you all who submit your name in along with a means of transaction. Now, 4 means of transaction that we're using as Cash App, as Venmo, that's PayPal, and Zelle. You can send it to Lorenza D. Smith15 at gmail.com. That's with your name along with a means. I don't even one of them means of transaction. And also, we want you to sow a seed. Our brand is there. We're just asking for you to sow a seed with WVSW Radio, the internet station. We're number 1 for an amount of $1. That $1 goes toward paying for our purchase of our books, our gift cards, our food vouchers, our gas voucher. We have some supported people that sponsored, and they give us a lot of things, but we also would like for an opportunity to purchase some of these things through sowing a seed with WVSW Radio. And you can do that by going to Cash App, and it'll be listed at Lorenza D. Smith. Let's support what we're trying to do, because we appreciate you taking time. Let me give a shout while we're here before we really get into a zero. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, Wilner Black joining us, as well as Divine Impress Up. I'm sorry, I wanted to say Express for some reason. Impress Up. We have Brighton Lay, thank you so much. Richard Fisher that's joining us. Daryl Williams, thank you for joining us. We also have a few individuals that are joining us slowly on the other devices, and we thank you. We have people calling in, and if you have something you want to share, when you call in at 347-857-4192, press number 1. It'll put your finger and your hand up, and I'll know that you want to communicate. You want to share your thoughts about our title, Relationships, Conflict, and Managing Conflict. We're so thankful to come before you, because there are so many things that we can talk about when we're dealing with relationships. We're going to talk about, as the title says, Happy Hour Live, is to talk about conversation that needs to be addressed. Besides that, I would say it's an opportunity to talk about some happy things in your life. Thumb up, send a heart up, or send a heart up or a like up. That way I know that you're really in tune to what we are doing. And we want to thank you so much for doing that. Let's talk about conflict and managing conflict. See, one of the biggest things that occur in our relationship that become toxic and abusive is that there's conflict and we don't know how to deal with conflict. First of all, we're not able, or some of us not in a position to identify what the conflict is. So before we can identify, we must know what that conflict is all about. So what we ask to do to start off our format tonight is to talk about relationship conflict, what it means. So a lot of times we're not understanding what relationship conflict means. Not only talking about romantic relationship, but also we have a family conflict. We have friend conflict. We have work conflict. We have community conflict. We have romantic conflict. The question is, can you identify the conflict? And we will give you a meaning of conflict, especially relationship conflict, as conflict that is inevitable part of any relationship. It's inevitable. You're going to have conflict. Ignoring anger from conflict means ignoring the signs. See, that's the sign. See, conflict is where people allow emotions to get into play, like anger, feeling. We have grief. We just have where people just don't want to get along with other individuals, and they keep things going, and they keeps the relationship or keeps life toxic. And our ultimate goal is that let us address when there's toxicity in our relationship. So, but to know what that relationship is all. See, when you ignore signs that something is not right in a relationship, some people call that your intuition, because we do operate from our inner self, not our outer self. See, we can wear our feelings on our shoulder, which is an emotion, but reality say inside is that we're not going to allow that to be our description. We're going to not allow that to flow from us. So it's important that we understand that when we begin to ignore the signs that something is wrong, we're not allowing our inner self, which is our heart and our soul, to do what it does best. See, that's where the recognition comes from. It comes from your heart and your soul. See, you can be consider yourself the smartest person in the world. You can work out things in theory, but see, your heart and your soul allows you to identify conflict, allows you to see what sides are into play to allow you to be able to deal with it or manage it. See, the ability to acknowledge and deal with your anger is very important. And you have to be able to do it in a constructed way. See, if you're experiencing abuse or violence, seek help immediately. Don't sit around and say, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, because your inner self is telling you this is not right. I was saying, and you have probably heard this even in your family or your friend, when people show themselves, believe what you see. Then to manage it or deal with it, run as fast as you can away from it. Do not stay there. Do not put yourself in a situation where you got to fight or flight. The truth of the matter is take the flight, because there your inner self is telling you don't stay there and be in that abusive situation. Don't stay there and be in that toxic situation, because you will be in that toxic and abusive situation. You have to also keep in mind when we're talking about relationship meaning are pretty much disagreements. See, you may not agree on certain things, but you have to learn to have the ability to compromise. You have to have debates. See, relationship conflict is debate, but it has to be in good spirit when you're debating. Argument, the same thing. It has to be in good spirit when you're going through this argument. Because a lot of times the struggles between two people in a relationship over matters of shared interests. See, that's when your struggles come into play. That's when you need to be able to be in a good spirit debate. We call it a friendly fire debate. Or if you want to be in an argument, you have to put it into play friendly fire. You got to make sure you protect each other, because we can put and make our relationship abusive. We can live off toxicity. It will destroy your relationship. It will not allow you to have a resolution or be resolved when the conflicts occur. Too many times we deal with things, we get upset, and then we hold it in, and it begins to build up. See, it's best to have a spirited debate, which you're not using language that disrespect others. See, conflict in a relationship, when you deal with it correctly, it can even strengthen your marriage or your relationship over time. And I want to say that again. Conflicts in a relationship, since you understand it could be anger, it could be where people are disrespecting you, there's people that are abusive, people are hurting, humiliating you, there's some violence in the play. The way you deal with this You have to make sure you understand it has to be done in a correct manner. If it means seeking help outside of that situation or that place, you must seek help. It could be counseling, it could be therapy, sometimes it could be law enforcement when you come with abuse, violence. You have to seek the help to make sure you can strengthen your relationship or marriage. And it's going to be done. It's a key 2 word that gives you an understanding. The key 2 word is over time. See, nothing is going to be able to clear it up overnight. It's going to take time. So you need to make sure you'll be willing to put the work in. See, relationship success is not done on flight. You have to put the work in so you can deal with it. Some people will say, I'm willing to fight for what I want out of this relationship. You don't literally have to go fisticuffs, but that means I'm going to put the time and the effort in so the relationship can be successful. This is a way you deal with it correctly. You can strengthen your marriage. You can strengthen your relationship. It also allows you with the confidence to know that the journey is worth going. And we always have to keep that in mind, because a lot of time individuals just give up. When I said fight or flight, is that you have looked at the situation and said, I see that this is not working. I need to step away from it. I need to find another safe space. And that's not it in this relationship. See, relationship conflict it can ruin. See, conflict or relationship conflict can ruin your marriage and you ruin your relationship. So you have to kind of be aware of the types of relationship conflict. And then you need to know how to face them. Because it's important to know what causes conflict in one relationship. So you have to be very wary of what's going on. Take an opportunity to use the effective communication process. Take an opportunity to listen to your mate. Don't already have the ideal of what you want to do without including. See, be inclusive and you can address your conflict. And that leads you to be able to manage your conflict. We want to give a shout out to our first sponsor, and we try to make sure we pay some bills, and we will pay. That's L&T Starworth LLC, L&T Starworth Lawn Service LLC.
That's right, hard work. Check out L&T Starworth Lawn Service LLC, the manicure expert in South Central Alabama. For more information, call Mr. Tony Starworth at 334-300-7401. Again, that's 334-300-7401. Or just go to Facebook and check out Anthony Starworth. DM Anthony, and he can connect with you. So we look forward to making it do what it do.
L&T Starworth Lawn Service LLC. And I'm just going to put this because when we gave the label or the opportunity to play the music, and we let them say, check this out, they said that's what it's all about, hard work. See, when you're dealing with conflict in your relationship, you got to be ready to put some hard work in. See, it's already a challenge because both of you have your own independence. You've always been independent, but you have become interdependent. You have to work with one another. You have to understand the difference so you can be successful in a relationship. But if you need the service of L&T Starworth Lawn Service LLC, you can give Mr. Tony Starworth a call. Now you go to Facebook, type in Anthony Starworth, and you can populate his information. Then you can direct message him or give him a call at 334-300-7401. 7401. And we want to thank L&T Stalworth Lawn Service LLC for supporting WVSW Radio, the internet station. We're number one. We want you to be a part of the show by calling in. The call-in number is 347-857-4192. Press 1. I'll make sure I get you on the line by identifying the last 4 digits of your cell. Ask for your location. You can share your name if you want to. And you can chat with Dr. Lorenzo D. Smith on Happy Hour Talk, where we're going to talk about direct and happy conversation. We're going to be direct. So we want to share with you something through the interactive process. If you're on one of the social media sites, which is Big O Live, we have TikTok, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, and we have Facebook, as well as Blog Talk Radio. Thank you so much. Use one of those. So we have to keep in mind what we need to do to be successful. We want to now, in our next segment, discuss the type of relationship conflict. People doesn't realize there's all kind of relationship conflict, and sometimes it be with the group of individuals you never thought there could be conflict. Let me give a shout out to Sandra Holland. Thank you so much. I have to kind of get it clear out there. You have Marion Bach. We have Larry Richmond 0618. Daryl Williams, I mentioned him, a user. And also you have Deborah Harris. Thank you, Deborah, for joining us. Derek Cooper, thank you for taking time. You also have, and this is, I'm trying to see, it look like, kind of look like Dot Enter Voice. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Wendy B, thank you, Wendy, for taking time to be a part. Constant Cobb, Joseph Matthews, Francis, thank you, Francis. Sherry Nelson, thank you so much for being. This is Nell O'Neill, thank you so much. Fred, thank you. McGee, thank each and every one of y'all. Thank you for taking time to be a part of this. We want you to be interactive. I gave you the call-in number, but you can type in your comments. I'd love to see some of your comments, what you think about relationship conflict. What does it mean to you? We truly want to know that. Now we're moving to the types of relationship conflict. And I said a group that you don't expect, but when you, in essence, come into a relationship and come into a marriage, and there's children involved, and a lot of times if you come in a relationship and you as a stepfather, a stepmother, these are the type of relationship dealing with, one of them is dealing with children. See, having children is also with you having your biological children. It changes what you want to do, and when you was a single person. See, your children, you say I'm an adult, now I'm being a responsible adult by making sure my children is coming first. So having children is one of the happiest moments in anyone's life. But for some people, because they're still seeking to hold on to their independence, this can cause a different kind of conflict. If you and your mate aren't ready for the responsibility. See, children is a responsibility, and you have to be ready for it. You have to make it clear when you are intentional. That's why you marry for you carry. Be intentional but if you have children, it can become a relationship conflict. It could be a relationship conflict, even in a marriage if you didn't plan and wasn't planning on doing it. It could be a relation conflict if you're trying to have a relationship with someone and you're asking them to be a stepfather or stepmother. You have to understand you're looking out for your interests of your children, but you got to consider when you asking someone else and a man to take care of someone else's children, a lot of men won't do that. They want to have their own children. See, and that's one of the biggest things. So children do come into play, and it leads toward conflict, especially when you aren't ready for responsibility. Finance, the biggest drawback in a relationship or marriage is a conflict over money, conflict over finance. See, it is among the top and the most common relationship conflict. People are ending marriages over money because you didn't have the clear understanding about the relationship and how the financial part plays. You need to talk about that. Talk about the financial part in the beginning. When you say, I'm intentional and my intent is to get married, let's talk about the finances. It's never too early. If the person don't want to talk about the finance, then you probably getting the red flag you need to have. See, some things need to be put out early so you'll know how people are willing to react to it. The finance come into play because a lot of individuals are not as financial literate as we think they are. And what we need to do is make sure we are able, and they get offended when they are financial illiterate, when someone come in and asking them to do something to be literate. I had a conversation today, and I was talking in the lab with a couple of the young people there. When I say young, they're prospects to be teachers. They're getting ready for it. And one of the things I brought up were people in our communities a lot of times are not financial literate. We don't understand income and debt income ratio. All of the credit you have, all of the loans you may get are going to be based on that. If your debt outdraw your income, then you're not going to be able to get the things that you would get if you controlling and making sure you're handling your debts. You have to make sure your income, take care of the debts. But when the debts is overshadowing your income, that means you don't have enough money coming in. So finance play a big part as one of the relationship conflict. The next thing is intimacy. See, one of the things that people have to realize is we're not always talking about sexual intimacy. We're talking about physical intimacy. And you have to enjoy the physical and the sexual intimacy. You have to put yourself in a position that so your relationship can progress. If not, the desire to have sex can decline and will become a problem in your relationship. It will become a problem. It become a conflict, and you got to find out a way to manage that. Household responsibility. When you talk about conflict in relationship, dealing with household responsibility, a lot of times cause couples just to quit. That's the final break. See, uneven division of responsibility. You have to stay on top of it. You have to make sure that if you have to keep your home clean and your responsibilities. It could also be dealing with grocery purchase. It could be dealing, be on the same page. Understand that's a responsibility. For this household to operate, you have to be responsible. Next thing is insecurity. That conflict come in a lot of times. See, insecurity breeds jealousy. Insecurity breeds jealousy. And see, among this type of conflict in a relationship, this one is the most destructive. Insecurity. See, you can't be insecure in yourself and expect to be in a relationship. You have to feel secure about yourself, understand your self-worth. That's important that you know that. You can give a shout out to, and it should be Epsilon Rho Sigma, Brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Thank you for taking time to be a part of this. We're really excited to have you on here. Sherry Nelson, I mentioned her previously. Thank you, Sherry. Some sign on, sign off. Elaine is joining us. Thank you, Elaine. Bridget Turner. Thank you, Bridget. We have her, and we have her 3. Thank you so much. Along with Bridget just put on the live. We just on this. We tried not to bring too many on TikTok live. Thank you for your request. Send us a heart. Let us know you're listening, and we can see you. Make sure you're on with the full time. Thank you so much, and thank you for your support. We give them an ID because that's more like a user joining us. Thank you so much for being a part of it. We want to pay our next sponsor because it's good that we can have these sponsors. It means a lot for us to have these sponsors because, see, God has blessed us one more time to be before you. We had an awesome show last night. It was very spirited. Give a shout out to host with the most, Lisa F. Levine. She was a host of Tell the Truth Prime Time last night. And also the callers and the ones that typed in their comments through Facebook, Instagram. Give a shout out to also one of the call-in person or the one that was using Facebook as well is the host of the Ministry Shannon Show. She was on last night, and she was live and shared her thoughts about our topic of what we were discussing about mental health and today's children. And it was a part 2 to that. Thank you so much. And we want to make sure you be a part of this as well. So if you want to be live, and sometimes people want to hear themselves and want to respond to what we're talking about, you can call 347-857-4192. Press 1, and I'll make sure I get you on the line by identifying the last 4 digits of your cell. Ask for your location. I'm asking for your location. Then you can chat with Dr. Lorenzo D. Smith as we talk about relationship conflict and managing that conflict. We want to give a shout out to Mary Ruth's Restaurant in Georgiana, Alabama. You can go, I can tell you right now, if you're on Facebook, have the ability to go on Facebook, type in Marvin Smith, and he has today's menu. You get a chance to see it's not in word. He actually will have a picture of the food in his buffet line. So check him out. That's Marvin Smith, Mary Ruth Restaurant. But we want to pay the promo for it.
Are you looking for home-cooked food in a family-friendly environment? Well, look no further than Mary Ruth's. Mary Ruth's Restaurant, located at 261 State Highway 106 in beautiful Georgiana, Alabama. Great food in a family-friendly environment. Mary Ruth's Restaurant offers home-cooked breakfast. All the fixings, you name it, they've got it. And not just home-cooked breakfast. Home-cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. Mary Ruth's Restaurant specializes in a meat and free vegetables meal. And meat and free. Also, home-cooked hamburgers, Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, and much, much more. Seafood lunches. Mary Ruth's Restaurant has seafood Fridays. Barbecue Saturday. And it's all caught fresh and made from scratch, including the desserts and so much more. Good. Stop by 261 West State Highway 106 in Georgiana. Mary Ruth's Restaurant. Call today. 334-362-4032. That's 334-362-4032. Mary Ruth's Restaurant. Home-cooked meals. Family-friendly environment. Great food. Who could ask for more in a restaurant? Mary Ruth's Restaurant in Georgiana. Breakfast from 7 a.m. until 10 a.m. Monday through Saturday. Lunch from 11 until 2. And dinner from 5 until 9. Barbecue Saturdays begin at 11 a.m. and last until 9. Mary Ruth's Restaurant in Georgiana. Home-cooked food with a family-friendly environment. Come on by. Dinner from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m.
We give a shout out to the co-owners of Mary Ruth's Restaurant in Georgiana, Alabama. That is Brother Marvin Lala Smith, member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, along with his wife, Sarah Katrina Roper Smith, a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. You can give Marvin a call. First, you can go to Facebook, as I said earlier. Type in Marvin Smith, and you can populate what he has on his menu for today, Thursday. Or you can give him a call at 334-549-0950. That's Brother Marvin Smith, a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, and his wife on Mary Ruth Restaurant And we thank you so much for supporting us. It is located in Georgiana, Alabama. As I said, it's 261 Highway 106 West, Georgiana, Alabama. So check them out, and you be a part of this as well. Our next segment is going to look at what are examples of relationship conflict. We said earlier up there about how the types of relationship conflict, but let's talk about examples of relationship conflict. See, relationship conflicts can be a different of opinion over first finance. Some people think they should keep all the money at the house in the safe. Some people want to keep money in the bank. It could be a different in what account we want to use. We're going to have joint account, separate account. What exactly we want to put in a saving, checking, money market, or we're going to buy bonds. Or we're going to buy bonds. We just got to make a decision. It shouldn't be a constant fight over there. You can easily make a decision. If you do not want to put in a joint account, you keep separate account. I'm not going to tell you how to run that. It's not a perfect way about doing it, but make sure you keep up what you're spending. Especially if you got a joint account, both of you are spending money out there. You got to set some tone for it so you'll understand. So finance is the number one thing that create difference in relationship and create conflict. Household chores, we said that earlier about responsibility. Have the chores and be responsible. You can't afford to do things by monthly. You have to do it either weekly to make sure it's in line. Some things you just know you have to do weekly, but some things you have to make sure you do it every 2 weeks so you can be, as they said, cleanliness is close to godliness. So you need to make sure. Some people have ODCU. They won't. I said, they got OD. They won't top it. They won't see it clean, spick and span where you can eat off the floor. Then you have some people that's comfortable with just in the middle. Then you have some just, we'll do it when we can do it. And just because there's only one, two people, no children, anything, you still want to keep your place clean. Cleanliness is close to godliness. The next thing is truly important that we got to look at is expectation. What were the expectations? See, some people think you need to write up a whole lot of expectation for your relationship to be successful. No, you don't. Because when you get like that, you're not guaranteed you're going to keep everyone's expectation or meet them. You have to have some general expectation how you want this relationship to go, how you want it to be successful. If you don't, it can create a conflict. The next discussion, as I said earlier, about kids, how to raise children. All of us don't come from the same background and the same parenting style. We have different parenting style, but you two people have to get together and compromise how you're going to do this. Don't let it be a conflict. Don't be where you one gonna play the good or bad, good cop, bad cop. You're gonna be good parent, bad parent. However you want. I want to put it on parents, but that's one of the thought process. Make sure you take time to agree how to raise your children. See, another thing that's really important is you have people looking for arguments. They're searching for arguments. It could be over dinner or who's going to pick up the groceries. Some people are looking for arguments because they're in their emotion. And reality tells you don't search for it. Don't search for an argument because it creates resentment. It creates fear. It's a sense of emotional instability. That's fear. So don't look for the argument. Don't create the argument. Sometimes it's best, like I say this all the time, some questions only require yes or no. People don't like hearing that, but if you continue to want to grandstand and continue to talk, because you feel like if I don't give you yes or no and I talk, you you'll forget about the question. But most of the time, it's yes and no. If you're going to do some rationale for giving your yes or no, that needs to be discussed how you're going to have. But don't get upset when someone asks you a question or you ask them a question, they respond to you no or yes, because that's what you're asking for. You're not asking for a long discussion. All that's going to lead to is conflict. Give a shout out to the Tampa Metro Sigmas down in Tampa, Florida, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Thank you, brothers, so much for joining us. Also, we have Miss Bush, EDS, a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. We have also Stephen Donahoe. Thank you so much. Mad Max, that's joining us. Then we have Danny Don. Thank you for joining us. I'm strolling down. Jeff is joining us. UCal is joining us, a user. Everton Banton, thank you so much. Douglas, Norman, Marshall Stewart, Andre Jones, Charles Calloway joining us. Pray Without Ceasing, Power in Prayer is joining us. Thank you. We have Jordan. I'm sorry, that's John Janelino Marshall. Thank you so much. Thank you, each and every one of y'all, for taking time to be a part of this. Charlie Angels on here now. Thank you so much. Soap Gems by Charlie's Angel. It's coming up. It's coming up. This is the right time for us to join us. Charlie's Angel. Thank you so much. Thank you for last night as well, because we want to be interactive on this radio station. And sharing your point of view is what it's all about. Thank you so much. On the mental health, the topic last night for Tell the Truth Prime Time was mental health and children today, part 2. Let's give a shout out to Soap Gems by Jackson and Grace.
If you want to purchase some of the best soap and perfume scents in South Central Alabama, contact Soap Gems by Jackson and Grace. The owner is Miss Jennifer Jackson. Contact number 251-369-1344, or go to Facebook. Type in Jennifer with 1 N Jackson or Charlie's Angel. There's several items like Bombshell, Chance of a Lifetime, Bloody Lovers, Straight Savage, Manpower, Goat Milk Lotion, and Calming Lavender Sea Salt. So please check her out. Again, that number is 251-369-1344. Soap Gems by Jackson and Grace.
Soap Gems by Jackson and Grace. That's Jennifer Jackson, 1 N in Jennifer. Or Charlie's Angels on Facebook. Charlie's Angel on Facebook. Type in that if you're on Facebook, and you can ask for an inventory to see exactly. I've seen some awesome things. I also have quite a few samples here. I'm so glad to have these samples here, and then using this calming lavender sea salt. Thank you so much for that, and the many other scents as I talk about. And truly, thank you so much, Jennifer, for bringing your idea to fruition, where it's able to be marketed in South Central Alabama. But she'll work with you. She'll do all over the world. All you have to do is just go to Facebook or give her a call, and she'll talk with you, or someone will connect with you out of her establishment. That's I want to say 334, but I forget. It's 251-369-1344. Soap Gems by Jackson and Gray. The next thing we're going to look at, and as we get ready to kind of put a bow on everything, what causes conflict between couples. See, there are several things that I would say a variety of sources that create conflict with couples, such as incompatibility needs of couples. See, we had a show the other night, compatibility, relationship compatibility matters. And it does matter. And you want to be compatible with that person that you have intentionally had a conversation about having a relationship. You know, I added all that in there. I'm not just talking about the random person. I'm talking about the one you have an intentional conversation, intentional relationship you're looking for, or you intentionally dating. If you're not, don't expect anything out of those individuals, because you know you'll find out whether they're compatible. That would be one. What is your intent in this relationship? What are you looking for in this relationship? Now, you do know that the way we're set up with our technology, you can research anybody you want to research. People don't realize that. You can't come in and sell these games because you can find out about all phases when you willing to pay a few dollars to research. And sometimes, and I'm taking every time, you have to do that. So you'll be protected because you don't know some of the situation, what people bring in with them. They're not going to be compatible with you. So the incompatibility in there is more or less their needs. See, our relationship, not about what we need, is what we want. I'm sorry, I didn't say that right. Shouldn't be caught up in the wants, should be caught up in the needs. That's what we want. What you need. How are we going to be compatible? Not what we want. Too many times we're caught up in that. Poor communication. So you have someone that lacks the ability to have listening skills. You know, a lot of you may remember your parents or their grandparents or your great-grandparents talking about, you tell them something and it go in one ear and go out the other. See, that's not a great active listening skill. If you're having trouble, you need to take up a course or work with some people through some mentoring and counseling that can help you understand that effective communication requires 3 areas that you need to focus on. Those 3 areas that I share with you will be active listening skills. Notice I said active listening skills. You cannot listen to someone actively. Listen, don't tell me I can tie tasks and do so many things, but you're not listening. You're going to miss something if you try to do 2 or 3 things at one time. So you make sure you're listening what the individual says, especially your mate. Then you need to use that ability to think about it. Think about what she's talking about, what he's talking about. How can we address that? After we do critical thinking, then we'll come to the phase where we're in what we thought about. This is what it's all about. Poor listening skill will create conflicts in a relationship. Distorted beliefs. See, some people, we all have our beliefs about child rearing. We all have our beliefs about relationship, but don't allow it to become distorted to the point that you don't understand yourself. So your beliefs gonna make up what matters, because your beliefs come from your background, come from your foundation. Let's not allow distorted belief to guide your relationship. Extreme emotional reaction. See, people don't realize when you operate with inability through emotions or emotional inability, you're going to have some extreme emotional reactions. See, we have to understand that we do not and should not operate on emotions. We should be operating on reality. That's what you should be operating. When you allow your emotion, because you lack that maturity, to make you angry. So angry that if you, for example, I'll share our co-host on the Dr. Lowe show, the awesome pastor, Eddie Pratt. He's a relationship coach and strategist. He always said that a lot of time we operate on emotions, and we will be in a car, we get upset, and we're driving so fast. And reality is outside the door, knocking on the door. Let me in. Because it's something, the results is not going to be good if you continue. It's not beneficial, and you're driving until you run off in a ditch. And it might be too late then. So truly what we have to keep in mind about our emotions, we have to that we have to work on being emotionally fit, emotionally to the point where we are just mature. We have to work on being stable emotionally, and we have to work on our intelligence, emotional intelligence, called our emotional IQ. We have to make sure that way we don't have these extreme emotional reactions. Negative enforcing patterns always going to trigger conflicts in a marriage, in a relationship. Enforcing pattern. How do you enforce what's going on in your family, in your relationship, in your marriage? See, if you create a pattern and it's negative, you're not going to be successful. See, every action is going to have a reaction. Every reaction have consequences. So you have to keep that in mind. If you have a negative pattern of reacting to things, trying to enforce, it's going to trigger conflict. See, you and your mate are two very different people who happen to be in love with each other. And as your relationship progresses, you start to get to know each other on a deeper level. See, that's what a relationship requires. See, a relationship requires you now to allow your inner self to be involved. It's called vulnerability. Thank you, Joy May 577. Say, keep going. Thank you. Thank you so much, Charlie. Charlie's Angels said good evening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening to you, and thank you. We will keep grinding. You can't allow to a point, you have to realize that you're different individuals who have come together. And if you work hard at being the best version of yourself and not work, might be, is that person going to leave me? So I have an acronym, the FEAR acronym that we always talk about. I shared one of the, and a couple of things throughout the discussion. See, the F in fear, in relationship fear, is frightened. You are frightened to death of the person leaving you, frightened that you're going to get hurt. So you start building a wall inside. See, you don't build a wall outside, but you build a wall to protect your heart and your soul. The E is the emotional stability, emotional maturity. Your emotional IQ is the E in emotional fear. The A is argumentative. See, if people want to argue all the time, they're afraid to get too close to you. That's the way to keep you back. No, I can't let you get that close because I'm afraid that I'm going to show my vulnerability. And the R in the emotional fear is resentment. See, we have to heal first in our relation, heal in our life so we can be in a positive relationship. See, if you was in an abusive, toxic relationship 10 years ago, you take on some of those things that you encounter, especially if it's over a period of time. You can become conditioned, and you're going to carry that what we call baggage. See, everybody wants that baggage might be other things. Baggage is inside of you that you're carrying with you. If you don't ever attempt to heal, seek help, you can go to betterhelp.com and you can get the help you need. If you're miserable and don't address being miserable, you're going to make everybody around you miserable. That's saying hurt people. That is creates conflicts in relationship. And you have to understand that others' beliefs important as yours. You want to get deep, you have to realize you can't just be the one that's reaching and grabbing and trying to get to the inner self of someone else and not willing to bring yours along. My mom had an old saying a long time ago. Some of the old people may remember it. They say, a person that brings you along got one buried. Their purpose is to bring you something, even though they may have something else buried. And that was just like, it's just like a dog will bury a bone. So a dog will bury a bone quick, and he go seek another bone as well. So we have to continue to work and trust and believe in one another. See, conflict, where you continue to distrust, continue to be insecure, it will get into your spirit. See, that's when conflict starts to manifest. And there are several causes of this manifest of conflict. Unreasonable expectation. Have you been in a relationship and you had unreasonable expectation, but you thought they was the best expectation? You were putting expectation of the relationship when you're not really understanding what is needed for that relationship to be successful. You going because you seen somebody or heard or saw it on your Instagram. You saw all this on Disney World or whatever you saw, and that become unreasonable for people. See, one of the biggest causes unreasonable expectations of conflicted relationship is when a person's expectations aren't met. So you didn't have time to have a conversation about it. You have to have a conversation about it. And you can't text your feelings. See, people will know when they're able to talk with you. Hear your voice. Hear your response. We're so modern now, we think we can develop a relationship from texting. It don't work. You don't get the true picture. You get someone behind a keyboard, which is a phone keyboard, a supercomputer right there. You want to be able to communicate. So some expectations they may have of you, but they never had a chance to discuss it because you didn't have a conversation where it was verbal. You start building unreasonable expectations. And once you start building them, they become normal. The next thing is being selfish. Are you a selfish person? Are you a selfish person? Do you just want to take, and never give? Sometimes people are not asking you for much, but they're asking you to go into the giving spirit. You know, we talk about love language, and it might be for you receiving gifts. If it is, you may have to give gifts too. Don't always be selfish. To have a successful relationship, long-lasting relationship, and a marriage, you have to be selfless, not selfish. But it leads to conflict. Selfishness is the number one cause on conflict in relationship. You being selfish. Is that you? Give a shout out to Tim Price joining us. Thank you so much for taking time to be here, Tim. Thank you so much. It looked like play without ceasing. Thank you so much for joining. We have Rose Credit. Thank you for joining us. The next form of conflict that create the ideal that lead to causes to breaking up relationship is the lack of communication. You may not have the ability to communicate. Have you asked yourself, do I have the ability to communicate with someone else without being selfish? Yes, you think about your own interest, but when you're asking something of someone, put things back in return. You ask me a question, you give me the choice to say yes or no. I don't have to explain every yes and no. You don't have to hear yes or no. Accept the yes and no and move on. So you have to be have the ability to work with communication. Because if you lack the ability to work, marriage, resentment. See, it's all part of that fear. Remember, I gave you the acronym for fear, resentment. See, when your mate bursts out a joke that offends you, it needs to be addressed. Because you're going to be resentful of that person from that point on. Even if it's accidentally, but you still feel like this person is negative toward you. This situation we'll call relationship and marriage conflict. And the next one, finger pointing. I want you to understand when people start pointing the finger at you for everything that doesn't go right, but they pat their own self on the back, or they want you to pat them on the back for everything they go, in essence, right. When things don't go right, they point at you. When things go right, bam, they wanted the credit. And it was amazing. I was just a content person, and it was talking about when you're dealing with our young people, raising our children, if everything go well, you want the credit, right? They said yes. When things don't go well, you want the credit. Then they said, what you mean? If everything go right, you want to have the credit, right? So when everything don't go right, you get the credit too. And we have to get that in our mind. We got a lot of people don't believe they can blame somebody else when it don't go right. We can blame the system. We can blame the parent, the other parent. We can blame everybody else, but except that I want the credit. I want you to pat me on my back when it's going right. And I want you also to share with me when it's not going right. See, that's the part of that no syndrome. We're in a period that no one wants to hear no. We're in more of a eighth place participation time in life. Everybody get a trophy. Everybody can get a trophy. So you have to work hard to understand this situation. Finger pointing is very important. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy criticism. If it ain't going right, you get the credit. See, I don't want to say blame. You get the credit. If it's going right, you get the credit. And everything will be all right. Finger pointing or unhealthy criticism is another type of conflict that arises. Give a shout out to our next sponsors. That's TriStat LLC. We want Mr. William Scott. Thank you so much for supporting what we're doing. This is TriStat LLC.
TriStat LLC. They grow your business. We provide specialized business and management consulting services. TriStat LLC meets your consulting needs in the area of engineering, accounting, research, and management service sector. Contact Mr. William Scott at 334-320-5438 or 334-526-0228.
Mr. William Scott, TriStat LLC. He's the owner and operator. You can just go to Facebook and type in William Scott, and you can get more information about TriStat LLC. It's the consultant firm that meets your need. Whatever you need, they'll try to meet it. If you need training for your staff, if you need to be shown how to administrate a grant, and then put a report there to submit to the grantors, they can work. They do research, and they just do a lot of things. So check them out by going to Facebook. That's William Scott, and you can DM Mr. Scott to let him know that I need this service. Can you tell me more about the service? Truly, that's what we want to be able to show and provide. And last but not least, because I think it's important that we have to have, we got a couple of things that we really, really want to look at. And some things we're going to do in a part two, because I think this one is a good one that we need to focus on. Relationship conflict and managing that conflict. What is conflict resolution? That's resolving a conflict, right? Why is conflict resolution important? See, conflict doesn't always result in harm. In fact, challenges and disagreement within a relationship, be it romantic or otherwise, family, friend, work, have the potential to foster personal growth, enhance understanding, promote better communication, and drive progress toward a shared goal. One of our researchers, which is Russell Geiger, stated in 2015, he's a clinical psychologist. He said disagreement can lead to 4 potential outcomes. The outcome favors the first person, but not the second. I want y'all to think about that. If you've been in a disagreement, been in a conflict, the reason why it seemed to be didn't work the way you're supposed to work because it favored one person and not the other person. The outcome benefits the second person, but not the first. Now we got conflict. The outcome is unfavorable for both individuals. See, we thought it was going to be just one way or the other. It's for both individuals. And a resolution is reached that satisfies the needs of both parties. Because when you look at a resolution, which is the 4th option, it's most desirable for sustaining and healthy mateship, and it prevents the potential decline of a relationship. That's why I said a resolution is reached that satisfies the needs. I didn't say the wants. I said the needs of both parties. Overall, conflict resolution is vital for a healthy, long-lasting relationship, as is promote understanding. I like that word. Those 2 words, promote understanding. Effective communication, prevents resentment, allow mutual growth, and satisfaction in the long run. The ideal is we have to promote understanding, effective communication. This is what resolution do. Prevent resentment and allow mutual growth and satisfaction, and we both excited about where we are, so it could be long running. That's what we are. Truly, that's what we want to do. We're going to come back on another segment, and we're going to talk about steps for couples to handle troubles and conflict, to overcome resolution differences. We're also going to come back later on, and we'll talk about strategies. And we want to talk. So, in our next show, we're going to talk about those two and add a few more thoughts on that. It's been awesome coming for you tonight. I'm so glad. I want to give a shout out to several people that's joined us. Matter of fact, about 48 people have joined us. Jeff, thank you so much. That is Big O, Bobby G. Thank you, Bobby G. That is Boo Pie. Okay. Coffee Lady joining us. John Smith. Thank you, John. That's John Smith. Donald Walker, 67. Latasha, thank you. Amir, thank you so much. Big Pitt, thank you. User, thank you so much for joining us. Enter voice, I heard him and he called back in. Buttercup, thank you so much. We also have Sybil Jefferson joining us. Thank you so much. Apple user is someone using it and is using that Apple phone or device. Thank you so much. It's truly awesome, baby, coming to you and share something. I hope something was gained tonight that hopefully you can share with someone else. Or if you want to contact and want to share, say you want to have a discussion about some of the things dealing with your relationship, you can go to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to Big O Live, go to TikTok, go to the email, and that's LorenzaDSmith15@gmail.com. Share your thoughts. We want to tell you we truly love you. It's been awesome being here and talking about some awesome topics, especially when we were talking about relationship conflicts and managing it. Everything we say comes from our heart because we talk from our hearts and our soul and the lived experience being had. Thank you on this radio station, which is WVSW Radio, the internet station. We're number one. We thank you. We have 43 countries of watchers and listeners. Thank you for being here. We had 2 additional countries. We had the Czech Republic added this past weekend, along with Canada. Thank you. We have listeners on 6 continents. So we truly hope something was gained. Hope we share something will give you some light on how you're going to deal with conflict, how you're going to manage the conflict in your relationship so you can identify conflict and address it so you can be the best version of yourself or you have the best relationship you desire with that person, whether it's in a intentional relationship or in marriage. We ask for the best. Hashtag responsible. Be responsible for your actions. Hashtag keep on grinding. That requires hard work. Keep grinding at it so you can be successful. The next hashtag I think is so important is communicate for understanding. We talked about effective communication. We know what poor communication will do to you or do for a relationship, create conflict. Let's have effective communication. Make it do what it do. Truly is a blessing. We got this. And we're going to continue to do what God blessed us to do because it's coming truly from our thoughts about it. It's from love. It's from our heart. I want you to have an awesome rest of the night and a weekend. And we're coming back on Monday. And we're going to make it do with straight talk, no chaser. And we're going to be excited to be able to come. That's 6 o'clock. We're going to make it do what it do. So as we get ready to close out, our last promo, our last advertisement we must play comes from those brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. They're sending me a new one. I played it last night. So as I strolled through my board, I want that they say it's fine. So we're really excited about being able to play, but I'm going to stroll through while I'm talking with you and see can we stumble up on that one because it's one of the newest ones. This is the Brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Zeta Phi Sigma chapter of Greenville, Alabama.
The Brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Zeta Phi Sigma chapter of Greenville, Alabama, invites you to connect with them. You can check out, if you will, Instagram, and that's Z Squad Greenville 1981, Twitter, Zeta Phi Sigma _ with the number 10, or email the chapter at Zeta Phi Sigma Greenville at gmail.com. We're all about making it do what it do. We're going to stand by our motto, culture for service and service for humanity. Brothers, make it do what it do.
I tell you, it's awesome coming for you, those Brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. And as we close out, we want to say to you, we love you, and have a good night.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.